In the experiment Dr. Glow and Dr. Lumos, you'll be seeing the process of luminescence. Luminescence is simply the process of emitting light but not caused through heating. You can explain this experiment to kids in different age ranges by explaining both the process of chemiluminescence and fluorescence. So, for kids that are in kindergarten and third grade, you can explain that luminescence is the process in which a glow stick works. As you crack the glow stick, light is emitted, and that allows the glow stick to glow in the dark. For kids that are in fourth and fifth grade, you can explain the process of absorbance. And this is what's happening in fluorescence as the electrons are absorbing light. In order to explain this process, you can give an example of a dry sponge being put in a container of water. So when this occurs, the dry sponge will be placed in water and will absorb some of the water in its environment, but it won't absorb all of it. Now when you squeeze the sponge, the water will be released, but it's only a limited amount. This is the same thing that's happening in fluorescence. When you're explaining fluorescence, this is what's going to be happening as well. The light at a high energy wavelength is going to be absorbed, but when it's released, it's not going to release the same amount of energy. And so that's what's happening in the sponge. As the water is being absorbed, it's not going to release the same amount of water that it was put into. For kids who are in middle school, you can explain a chemical reaction. As they crack the vial in a glow stick, they're releasing hydrogen peroxide. As the hydrogen peroxide reacts with the fluorescent dye on the outside, it's allowing light to be emitted. So this is all due to a chemical process called chemiluminescence. For kids who are in high school and college, you can explain the visible light spectrum and the wavelengths that light is emitted and absorbed. And you can also explain that as electrons are absorbing the UV light, they're being excited and raised to a high energy state. As the electrons come back down to their original state, they're going to be releasing light. And this is what's allowing fluorescence to occur. As the electrons come back down and light's being released, the light that's released is going to be at a lower energy state and a lower wavelength than what it was originally absorbed. So as it's releasing that certain color that you see, it's lower than the UV light that it originally absorbed.